Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to my podcast. Or nope, this is a vlog. I still haven't named it. I'm thinking about something like From the Desk of Evie Smith or something like that.
Evie Smith Unhinged.
Always. That's on brand. So today, joining me on my very baby of a YouTube channel is Jae.
Hello.
Jae works in the Rebellious office. He is an account associate, account manager type, and we work together in the office in Portland. Mm-hmm. Jae is also, how old are you, Jae?
24.
24. So he's our whatever's younger than a millennial. So Jae keeps me young. You've taught me such words this year as what a snack is.
Yeah.
And cuffing.
Oh yeah, cuffing.
Yeah. So I would be lost without your knowledge. So we so appreciate you. Also today we very excitedly recorded the first revamp of the Rebellious podcast.
Yeah, that was exciting.
So that's going to be coming out soon, and I promise that's an actual podcast where this is a video, even though I called this a podcast.
Highly professional.
Highly professional.
Maybe edited.
That one's going to be edited. This is no
raw. This is raw.
Raw, no edits, no rules, just right. So today I wanted to have Jae on because something kind of amazing and crazy and silly dropped on Netflix. Was it 2 weeks ago?
It was a bit ago. I was a little late to the party.
So it was a documentary about the Fyre Festival. I always want to call it the Fyre Festival.
Fyre Festival.
The Fyre Festival. The Fyre Festival, which happened in 2017. I kind of give these guys homework sometimes in terms of watch this, read this, let's talk about it. Because I think sometimes it's great examples of what our industry is like or when shit goes tits up.
There you go.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what the Fyre Festival was or what it wasn't?
Yeah. From what I got from the documentary is about two guys, Jae Rule and Billy McFarland, and they decided to create this wildly unrealistic luxury music festival in the Bahamas. And so it kind of documents that whole really, really shitty process and how everything went south so quickly and how Billy as a mastermind kind of just really hoodwinked a lot.
Ooh, hoodwinked. That's definitely a good phrase for what happened. I kind of feel we both we have a few points we want to bring to the table. But before we do that, I think we want to why would Jae Rule ever be your business partner?
Notoriety.
I was totally unimpressed by him the entire time. Okay, we're just getting into it.
Well, when I think of Jae Rule, I think of
Ashanti, and she really carried that whole thing for me.
Yeah. Since my favorite reference is just a little bit younger, I just think of my dad listening to Jae Rule. So when I think of why would I ever want to have Jae Rule, would I want to hang out with my dad? No.
I think for me, Jae Rule was very much it was he was as much of an asshole as I thought it was a character.
Oh yeah.
And so I was really surprised. I don't know what's going on there. No edits ever. I felt I
got hype man vibes.
Yeah, well, and also he just he is as much of a jerk as he always portrayed himself to be. And I think a lot of times in the music industry, I feel people put on characters, but that's just him, and he was just a douchebag.
But other than being enthusiastic and charismatic about things, that's all he did.
Yeah,
he just yelled and drank and hung out, and then everybody else did all the work.
And I mean, I wonder if he actually got paid. Because everybody else in the video was I didn't get, or in the movie was I didn't get paid, I didn't get paid, I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
But you never saw Jae Rule being I didn't get paid.
Yeah, he kind of just fell off.
Yeah, he never was interviewed either. That would have been another great addition.
Yeah.
I do feel the documentary, which is available on Netflix, and we will make sure to link it in the YouTube description. Great interviews. A lot of really quality interviews. Mm-hmm. You had a really fun fact you just told me before we started recording about Billy.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering why Billy was never interviewed for the documentary, and I found out that it's because he wanted to get paid. He wanted to be paid to be interviewed. And when Netflix was like, we can't pay you for all the people that you hurt. Like, we can't give you money to be in our... So they didn't.
Good. I mean, he doesn't need more FaceTime. And then, like, I just wanted to write down a couple of things about who Billy is, like, out of context before being this, like, just, like, obscenely rich person who tried to plan without any event experience. Mm-hmm. Well, he had, like, very small event experience. Tried to do this, like, music festival, like Coachella in Bahamas, essentially, but even more luxury. So Billy McFarland, he's had, like, a few startups, but he was, at that time, the CEO of Fyre Media.
Yes.
Which I think they were making games or doing something.
An app.
An app. Okay, that's right. So and it sounded like his first startup, the membership card deal, seemed like it was just like a complete con as well.
Oh yeah, it definitely felt like that. I think in the spoiler alert, I think in the documentary they mentioned too that like somebody is like who was a part of that is like still getting sued.
Oh, I see. You just watched. I watched it like 2 weeks ago, so like a lot of these little details have like fallen off for me, but like it's fresh in your mind. I love this.
I'm trying to recall it as precisely as I can, and I feel like that whole situation was just like terrible as well.
Okay, so
the credit card thing.
Oh, the credit card, the membership card. Yeah. Okay, I want to get into these points. Okay. First of all, and this is a direct quote from me. What the fuck is up with those agencies staying until the very end?
Oh yeah. Like everybody was like holding onto the ship and really just praying that like this will be fine. And like the only guy that actually felt it was the pilot. Right? Because he got fired for not
pretty early on.
Yeah, for like not having like the same.
Well, he was like he wasn't being solutions oriented.
Yeah, he wasn't solutions oriented. They're not problem oriented. So that, and then there was like. I know that the media side and the festival side were very separate.
Right.
So I can see the people on the media side like just doing their job.
Right.
And like not really, they're not given the information of the festival side.
Totally.
Nobody is saying like specifics. They're just like, oh, I wish I was on the media side again. Like, oh, I would much rather be on the media side. I'm done with this festival thing.
Yeah.
So that was just... I felt bad for them.
I think for me it was kind of on both sides, because even I think it was one of the guys from that marketing agency called like Fuck Jerry or something like that. So they had like a really attractive, well-voiced guy there who like he was like even went down to the Bahamas and then realized it wasn't happening. But then they had that one guy who I think was doing something with festival coordination, who was like gonna teach yoga and was doing like a lot of the day-to-day, and you could tell this guy had been through a war. But I think it was his story specifically that kind of stood out in my mind as being like, why did you not leave? Why did you even go to the Bahamas in the first place? Why didn't you come back from the Bahamas in the first 2 days when you realized everything was like, that this was such a disaster?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in like hindsight's 2020, nobody got paid, so they didn't realize that. So maybe it was like, at least if we see this through, even if it is a disaster, we'll get paid.
Yeah, and I think also like that other guy, the older gentleman who had like been in that space for so many years, like he like was working with Billy for so long prior to that that like I just feel like he was like he dove into the Kool-Aid, and then he like realized it when he had to like hide in the back of a car to get off the island to
my gosh,
escape everybody who was looking to hurt him.
After I watched it, I had anxiety dreams that were in a very beautiful setting of the Bahamas, which I've never been to. I had dreams that like I worked at an agency and was involved and had to handle the PR for this.
Terrible.
And then I woke up the next morning and was like, everybody watch this documentary.
It's like I can have a panic attack after you like explaining that to me.
Okay, so other things I want to talk about. Let's talk about the influencers and that first video they made. So I think that the festival's whole relationship with influencers, I feel is a really good example of how influencer marketing is so purely transactional right now, and that also influencer marketing is now the primary way to advertise something. Like, I don't think it was a medium that was taken very seriously until the last couple of years. And we've worked all over in influencer marketing. We work with influencers sometimes. We've worked with people who have influencer companies. Like, we're kind of all over the place. But, like, what were your thoughts about that?
It's a sticky market. It's so hazy and, like, but for what they were doing, to my understanding, the media side was developing an app where they would get influencers, musicians and things like that to sign onto their app, where you could book through the app to get these influencers or musicians to whatever you want.
They're calling like living room concerts was a term I remember.
Yeah, something like that. And so like, it was like, that's a different situation than having like the models posting about the festival. I was just reading that there's still models like to this day just starting to open up about like how being apologetic about the situation. And
I don't think they need to apologize for anything.
I really think that they were hoodwinked.
Yeah, again, I do think those first girls though, and we're talking like it was like Bella Hadad. Mm-hmm. It was the one that just Haley Baldwin. I think she was one of them. A lot of girls that you would recognize from the world of the internet. Mm-hmm. I think that I feel like they must have gotten paid.
I feel like they probably got paid, but I bet their managers were probably.
I think there was more money earlier on too.
Oh yeah.
But I think I mean they even said it in the video that like that commercial that they made, that was the entire festival. It was that weekend or whatever they did to make that
and
really
they
like
were pulling clips from that the entire time they were running social campaigns.
Yep.
Just like cuts and bits and pieces all the way up until the festival.
Yeah. And what was it? Was it Kendall Jenner got paid $40,000 for one post?
I don't remember the cost.
I think it was $40,000.
I do remember her being involved.
Yeah, and that was it though. She didn't even go down to the Bahamas. She just posted that she was going.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's crazy. So that's like a whole thing in itself and a whole commentary on influencer marketing. I want to talk about, because there was the term solutions oriented. We're a solutions oriented organization, and anybody who's not with us is against us. I felt like that was, what did I write? Basically something privileged white men say when they don't have an actual solution.
Yeah. Right.
I just was like, I feel like the first time I heard it, I'm like, that's like such a bunch of bullshit they teach you in business school. Mm-hmm. Like, it also doesn't mean anything. What is your solution, Billy?
That was like the first time I had ever heard it, but it came off very like backhanded, like very like, if you don't do what we say, then you're out.
Or if you talk against us or question the overarching goal, I mean, it was just bullshit. My next point was Jae Rule, which we already like dug into like deeply, and my last point is the blowjob.
Oh, that I had been seeing memes of that guy.
I just feel for that guy. I feel for that guy, but then I don't feel for him because he didn't have I don't want to use the term balls in this standpoint. He didn't have the strength or the backbone to like stand up for himself and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I feel like that was a situation where a gay person, although I never particularly feel like white cis gay men are particularly pressed upon too deeply in this day and age, but I felt like that was like it would been, I think it would have been the same if it was like a woman, where it would have been like, go give that guy a blowjob. Go get this guy a blowjob to save this festival. It's like, why would you put that pressure on that person to do that?
Also, that guy, like, if he was having any contact with Billy at all at that time, which he was, like, he had to have been like pretty up there. Like, he was in that close circle.
Yeah.
And like, if you're in that close circle, like, I feel like he should have had the strength to say something like, yo.
Well, yes. And at that point, wouldn't you know that everything was wrong? Definitely. Like, if the whole festival revolved around
for bottles of water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was to get shit out of customs.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
For bottles of water. So that guy is going to have, like, a really interesting...
He's going to be fine. He's a white man.
Also true.
He's fine. He's thriving already. He's already, like making
30
his...
years into his career.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's,
yeah.
like, established.
And he was just on a Netflix documentary.
This is definitely something for his clubhouse.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so what were some of your points?
So one of them was talking about how Billy wanted to be paid for the interview, which was kind of just ridiculous. I was really concerned for the people of the Bahamas after that.
Super great point. And that woman's story at the end where she was talking about how she took $50,000 out of her own savings to pay the people who had helped her.
So I looked that up. Her and her husband opened up a GoFundMe after.
Oh, good.
And they actually raised $170,000.
Great.
Off of the $50,000 that she had lost. So there's a little bit of recovery there. I was just reading about how the Bahamas are trying to recover from having something like the Fyre Festival associated with them, other than like Sandals Resort. Yeah. And they released a new ad campaign with Lenny Kravitz. So somebody who is like a more positive type of person to have representing the Bahamas than a festival. So
I could just see him. He always wears like a mesh shirt, Lenny Kravitz. So I feel like for this time he's gonna wear like a white mesh shirt, you know, and it's just gonna be like very like beachy Lenny, but still a rock star.
Yeah, I think so. I recently saw a luggage commercial with him in it.
Oh my god,
and it was very much still that vibe.
He's a beautiful human being. He makes beautiful human beings. He's like all around great Kravitz.
So like
top Kravitz.
They're trying to like get on the up and up and like recover, but
I do think a music festival in the Bahamas would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the first thing that was brought up in the documentary that I didn't even think about was all that infrastructure stuff. Like, music festival, cool. And I was like, how are people going to use the bathroom? Like,
is there actually enough space for all the human beings? Because that first island that they bought, so fucking shady. The first island that they bought, like physically, like the pilot guy, that's why he got fired, is because he's like, there is not physically enough room for all of these people, and there's definitely not enough room for them and their like, what, you know, like
everything
bathrooms,
that they bring.
Food, waste, all kinds of waste, all that stuff.
And then like I remember from the documentary how they mentioned it was like Pablo Escobar's island, and they weren't actually supposed to say that, and that was like the first thing that they put out when that video released. So that's why they actually had to find a new place, because the owner was like, no, get off.
Do you think okay, because that the Pablo Escobar thing, like I think that was something that that Billy and Ja Rule thought was really cool. Like I honestly if I'm going to the Bahamas, I don't really give a fuck if it's Pablo Escobar's island or not. That like doesn't really like add an air of like luxury to me.
It's just like a famous person's name.
A famous drug dealer.
So I'm just like,
cool. Yeah, totally.
I was kind of surprised at like the people that they had interviewed in the documentary and like the concert goers. They weren't anybody particularly famous. I read an article that one of the guys that was interviewed in the documentary, he was like people knowing that I paid $4,000 to go to the Bahamas for a fake festival, like I deserve to be made fun of.
I mean, great.
Like,
great.
Thank you for accepting that.
Yeah,
because we are going to make fun of you for spending $4,000.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm surprised that there weren't any like more notable people. Like they had the models, you had Ja Rule, but there wasn't anybody else like particularly like influencer status. When they had influencers named on the documentary, like I still didn't recognize them. But
how influential are they then?
Yeah, so like how much did you pay or like how much did they pay? And then they said that certain people would be able to stay for free, like in those like Airbnb things.
You mean people's houses that they
it stresses me
like
out.
Like they took from them basically? I think the only other thing that I thought was such a show of human nature was so after the people who were going to the Fyre Festival got there, they shit's not right. They knew that, and it was that first night.
They were like, no.
And how animalistic everyone got.
They were like, not today. Nope. So they were like people just like ravishing things, and like they saw some woman walking around with like the whole thing of toilet paper and like stuff like that. So
I would love to talk to somebody who went there.
It would be interesting. I would also feel extremely bad for them.
Yeah, I'm just like really curious. I mean, because you know, like I think the documentary probably did like a really accurate depiction of like what that was like. But I would love to hear from somebody who was like, I went there, it was a shit show. Like, I don't know, the whole thing was so crazy. So
and like the wildest part about it was how Billy was still conning money even out on bail. like, boy. Like, white privilege. Like, this guy is not afraid to, like, go back to jail.
Stop giving Billy money.
Yeah, like, don't. And then it was kind of ridiculous. The guy that he employed to be, like, the face of that company had, like, the Fyre Festival sweater on and then, like, the Magnesis hat, which is, like, the older company.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are just a dynamic duo of conning money out of people. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was interesting.
I could talk literally for like another however many minutes we just talked about this whole thing.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
minutes,
20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for us then.
Yeah.
Jae, thank you so much for joining me on this Friday
Thank you for having me.
For my video from my desk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then would you...
Desk side chats.
Would you join me again sometime?
Yeah, sometime. I'll clear my schedule.
Okay, thanks.
We'll see.
I know where you work.
Oh, yeah. It's over there.
All right. I hope everybody has a great weekend. If you're in Portland and you are watching this somewhat real time, you know, it's supposed to snow, so go to the grocery store. I don't know. Hi, Mom. Hi, everybody else. We'll link to a bunch of stuff in the description. And if you have any questions for Rebellious PR, you know where to hit us up. hello@rebelliousPR.com or drop us a line in the comments. Bye.